Hello there, VC. Welcome to today's video. And as promised, I've got some, I guess let's call it reissues that failed. I don't have that many because the majority of the reissues that I buy, you have to do your homework. You have to make sure it's from an original analog tape. They haven't digitized it. There's a lot of that kind of stuff going on today. But once in a while, hey, I make a mistake like everybody else, and some of these records were supposed to be, the best sounding, whatever. But I've talked about some of these records before, but this is going to be one video of putting them all in there. Again, we've got the Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and the Crosby, if only I could remember my name. These were reissued by Classic Records, and these are the Rhino reissues, and the Rhinos are so much better. So in this instance, the Classic Records reissues, those are the failures, and these Rhinos are so much better. I mean, the way that they make these records, the way that they're produced, I mean, they're like some people making $50 records. I mean, that's how good they are, and they were only like, I think $22 or something I paid for them. Here's another one of those Universal Music Group, Tragically Hip. It's a new record that came out, and I didn't even care who made it or how it was made. I just wanted to get it, but the pressings are really messed up, and the sound, I only had a CD to compare it to because you can't buy the originals of these. They're $200 or more, and so, but yeah, the CD was actually sounded better in the most part than this record did. That's how bad this one is. Here we go. Leonard Skinner, The Street Survivors. Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab, or MoFi, has just reissued this year, I guess about a year or so, maybe one or two ago, and this Japanese first edition sounds better than the MoFi. Okay, now Roxy Music, Capitol has released these, reissued them. This one, and there's I think 3 or 4 of them. The Roxy Music, the older Roxy Music records, Capitol reissued them, and they're terrible. Capitol's one of those big companies. They probably just got out the old stampers and just reissued it again, thinking that that's not what we want. We want it. Go get that tape, remaster it, and make us another first press like you did back in the 70s or whatever when the record came out, and do it today's standards. Again, this was a mistake I just bought here a while back. These Jethro Tull records, they're analog tape that was digitized, and then they made a record. And then of course when you compare it to something else, I think I have a second or third edition of this one, and that sounds so much better than even this. So those Jethro Tull reissues aren't worth getting. Now, this is In Excess, and MoFi's reissued this too. And now, I talked about this in a video probably about a year ago, how this record is just, actually I think it's a record club record that I got. I got it through the record club. It's a Canadian record club pressing. And I thought, well, wow, MoFi's reissued it. I'll get one of those. And I compared the two, and this is a lot better. How can the other one be half-speed mastered if just the regular old run-of-the-mill record club press is better? Yeah, that's how good those new MoFis are. Okay, I brought this one up because this is a first edition Canadian press of this record, and I had bought a Japanese pressing thinking, wow, it's going to be a lot better. It's not. This Canadian press of this record here, first edition, probably maybe a USA press too. This is a good sounding record right here. Really good sounding record. Okay, Love Over Gold. This was pressed it's reissued now. Palace, Germany has reissued this record, and this is, again, a Canadian first press. I've had it for from about forever, and this one sounded a lot better than that reissue out of Germany, which I thought the German one would be better, but sometimes they're not, and that's what the video is about. Which ones aren't worth getting? Here's one. The Doobie Brothers, Captain and Me, Friday Music reissued this one. And at the time, I had a Japanese second edition of this record. And so I said, well, I'll buy the Friday Music because I've had a lot of luck. They're making some pretty good records. And so I bought it, and no. The second edition was better than the Friday Music reissue. So I sold that one, and I went out and I found me a first edition. Now this is the first edition. This is a lot better than the second edition was. So it's much better than the Friday Music reissue. And here we go again. This is the old mobile fidelity. I can't make any sense of it because MoFi has reissued this Elvis Costello record. You know, this Elvis Costello it's got like 12 songs aside. It's like those old Beatle records, you know, song after song after song. And they're always talking about groove cramming, where they just keep getting all the songs closer and closer together. And of course, it's not as good for fidelity that way. That's why a lot of times these newer reissues, they take a single record and they put it on 2 records and they really space it out, and it gives you a lot more fidelity, a lot better sounding that way. So what they did now, they reissued it on a 2 record, 45 RPM, half speed mastered. And I'm thinking, that's going to just be mind-boggling how good it sounds. So I put it on, listened to it. Yeah, well, of course, you know it sounds nice. I'm thinking, this isn't like knocking my socks off. Get up. This is a UK first edition. Put the UK first edition on. I'm like, wow, listen to all that bass. Listen to that voice, how real it is. Listen how great the guitar did. It's a lot better. What's going on with MoFi? How can a UK first press sound better? Now, supposedly, from the original analog tape, it's been remastered at half speed and put on 2 records, 45 RPM. That should utterly destroy this thing, and it didn't. This is better. That's the problem I got with MoFi. You know, people say, oh, they sound good, but it's about what do you compare it to? What are you comparing that new MoFi to? Because a lot of those titles that are coming out, of course, a lot of the Dylan stuff, of course, it's been out. But a lot of those other records, you know, from the 90s, people never had them in the first place. Well, of course, I've got a few, and I can compare it. And now this is about the McCartney stuff that came out a few years ago. I think this one, Ram, maybe Band on the Run. He put a few of his earlier records out. And I had this one, and I only had it on the 2nd edition at the time, or 3rd edition. And of course, I bought that McCartney reissue, and I tell you what, the packaging is first rate. The covers, they put them on the 2 records. The inner sleeves were all, you know, shiny and pictures and everything. It was really, really nice packaging. The record sounded really good, but I noticed on that reissue now, I noticed that the Japanese one on the 2nd press, it sounded better. There was a certain parts of the drum kit and stuff that I said, you know what, it sounds more real on the Japanese press. So I sold it, and I went out and got me one of these on the Apple. It's 2,200 yen, so it's probably a 2nd edition. I think the original had the Forever OB on it. But these, I've compared some of those Forever OBs to these AP pressings. They're very, very, very close. Sometimes you can't even tell the difference. These are good. If you can get RAM or this on this, it's really hard to do. This is hard to find in the first place. So that's going to basically conclude the video. Hope you helped you out a little bit. Maybe you can, if you're thinking about getting some of those records, you can avoid them. And thanks for watching. Appreciate it.